Karina baby, next is Hilda's new broomstick. One morning, Alfred Jones went to see his friend Hilda Brimstone, who lived at the top floor of Moonshine Mansion. Hilda was a witch, and she and Alfred got along very well. On this particular morning, however, Hilda looked a bit disappointed to find Alfred at the door. "I thought you were my new broomstick," she said. "I'm afraid not," said Alfred. "Come in anyway," said Hilda. "You can help me try it out when it arrives." "Thank you," said Alfred. Hilda told Alfred all about the new broomstick. "It's the latest thing," she said. "I chose it from a mail-order catalog." She opened the catalog to a page full of broomsticks. "This one," said Hilda. She pointed to the biggest. Alfred read the description. "High speed, zoom broom, fully automatic broomstick for fast, trouble-free flying with a built-in computerized homing device." "What's the homing thing?" asked Hilda's cat Hubble. "It helps the broomstick find its way home," said Hilda. As she spoke, there was a terrible crash outside Moonshine Mansion, followed by the twinkling sound of breaking glass. A high-speed, fully automatic zoom broom with a built-in computerized homing device had just crashed through Matthew's plumber's bedroom window on the second floor. Alfred and Hilda and Hubble rushed downstairs and found Matthew examining the broomstick excitedly. Matthew was Alfred's friend and a genius with computers. "I'll just reprogram the homing device for you," he said. "Then it will work perfectly." "Thank you," said Hilda. "I'm not much good with these newfangled inventions, but I can fix your window with a bit of magic." She murmured a spell and clicked her fingers. Snap! And Matthew's window was as good as new. When Matthew had fixed the homing device, Alfred said, "Can we take the zoom broom for a test now?" "Yes," said Hilda, "and Matthew can come too." So they all sat on the broomstick with Hubble hanging on behind. "Goodness knows where we'll end up," he muttered. Hubble didn't trust the new broomstick at all. "Ready?" said Hilda. "Full power," said Alfred. "Go," said Matthew. And they flew out the room and up around the chimneys all afternoon. At dinner time, Alfred tried to tell his mother about the new broomstick. "Oh, yes," said Mrs. Jones, who didn't believe Alfred for a minute. "And I suppose the witch's cat was flying around with you." "Well," said Alfred, "as a matter of fact, he was." Oh. Next is Excelsior. The shades of night were falling fast, and through the Alpine village passed a youth who bore, mid snow and ice, a banner with a strange device, Excelsior. His brow was sad, his eye beneath flashed like a fruition from its sheath, and like a silver clanging rung the accents of that unknown tongue, Excelsior. In happy homes he saw the light of home-held figs gleam warm and bright. Above the spangle glister shone, and from the lips escaped a groan, Excelsior. Try not to pass, the old man sighed. Try not to pass, the old man said. Dark lowers the tempest overhead, the roaring torrents in deep and wide, and loud the clarion voice replied, Excelsior. Oh, stay, the maiden said, and rest thy weary head upon their breast. A tear stood in his bright blue eyes, but still he answered with a sigh, Excelsior. Brave the pine tree's withered branch, beware the awful avalanche. This was the peasant's last good night, the voice replied, for up the height, Excelsior. At break of day and heavenward, the poorest monks of St. Bernard uttered an oft-repeated prayer. A voice cried through the starred air, Excelsior. A traveller by the faithful hound, half buried in the snow, half found, still grasping in his hand of ice that banner with the strong device, Excelsior. In the twinkling cold and gray, lifeless but beautiful he lay, and from the sky scorn and fear of voice fell, like a falling star, Excelsior. This is the last one in this book, baby. And after this, it's all acknowledgments. So we read this entire book. This was Favorite Poems, Old and New. Mama has another book in her bag, and I'll start that one in a little bit. I love you so incredibly much. Let's do... Oh, the grand old Duke of York had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill, and then he marched them down again. And when they were up, and when they were down, and when they were only halfway up, they were neither up nor down. I hope that you enjoyed the poems, old and new, from this book. I actually went down to the library a couple days ago, and they let me actually buy this book from the library because they had one donated to them. So this actually isn't the library book that I've been reading you. It's the same book from the same library that someone donated that I just bought the other day because the book was overdue. So they let me just buy it, which was very sweet of them, because now we could actually read this one in person too when I maybe get to see you. Okay? I love you so incredibly much. I hope that you know how loved you are, how cherished you are, how precious you are. Everyone starts off as this tiny little baby that everyone loves and adores, right? And as you grow, you are still loved and adored. I don't care what you may feel for in that moment. You are loved, you are cherished, you are adored. You are just a beautiful, beautiful little girl. And I just want to make sure that everyone feels loved, accepted, and seen, because you know, we all start out loved, accepted, and seen for who and what we just are. Like, there are ideas in our heads of what we want for our kids, right? Like, I just want you to be happy, and I want you to feel success the way that you want to feel success. And I want you to have the potential to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do, right? And do whatever it is that makes you feel successful. I love you so incredibly much, and I'm just so blessed to have you as a part of my life, no matter what. I will always love you, Karina.